Yeah, that totally speaks to me, to kind of create spaces for individual and collective sense making. So reflection and dialogue. And through this, we see we are not alone in this, that we are all navigating these tensions and paradoxes as leaders. So we are together in this, and we bring transparency to it. And also then maybe a shared understanding and a collective buy-in to something, including those things which are often completely under the hood, like the power dynamics. No, because I can have all the nicest, greatest ideas about what to do and how leadership should look like. But of course, if there are certain stakeholders have an extraordinary influence on the whole organization, then I can't do it because I need some safety for it, right? I don't know. We haven't spoken about this, but of course, like psychological safety is so important. And as you said, that people are like, okay, I need to perform as well. I need to show that I can do it. And what am I measured against? You know? So how is that? Like the difficulty maybe of um, dealing with power dynamics in these situations? How do you deal with it? Like, let's say you bring the leaders together of an organization, but then there is a supervisory board or investors or owners who might have certain more traditional ideas about what business means, what leadership means.
Yeah, I think there is again bringing attention to the facts as they are is important. I think a lot of organizations don't talk about these difficulties. It doesn't even have to be a negative thing. It's a fact how the organization is steered, right? And I think what we can help the leaders with is, and that's coming a little bit back to this idea of fast or slow. You know, what can we expect to change overnight? It's not a lot, but what can we somehow shape a personal aspiration to influence, or a collective aspiration, to your point? So when we actually have leaders together in a space who might want to try to influence something to the better in their sense of better, how do we politically navigate that together? It's not fighting the system. The system is the system. It's working with the system and its politics and its power dynamics, but still trying and not giving up, right? So that's often where the conversation takes us, and that this is not, in the very big context, something you can do from today to tomorrow. It's something that you can try your best to influence in the system in a way that is not going too much behind walls, but like being active in the front with the right people who. So it's about finding allies in the system. It's about again, daring to take the conversation with the stakeholders. I mean, I think there's a weird thing with the hierarchies happening, that people think that even shareholders or top boards are not open for conversation. I absolutely think they are. I've never seen anything different. So who is it in my system who I think similar with in top leadership, who actually has good connections to the board members, the shareholders, whoever, who have the most power, you know? And how do we get ourselves to the table for that conversation and dare to do that? There's a lot of it sounds simple, but it is not, because it is steered by power and politics and all these things. And I think when we have the conversation with senior leaders, or even close to executives, they do leave with some courage to try to do things different. And it's often a question about, you know, what is not important tomorrow, but what is the legacy that you hope to stand for later in life. So it's big questions that you have to put into the spaces, right? To really try to bring change. And on the other hand, it's also sometimes a very pragmatic thing. So we talk about speed as important, but if we don't make speed possible because we are so complex in everything we do, helping leaders to understand what speed can look like is also to try to do things a little more playful, a little bit more design sprint, collective, iterative. You know, maybe we've not been used to working that way, and just sometimes trying to to put team activities up in a different way, and try it out also helps them. So sometimes what we do with leaders, it's also very practical,
Mhm.
but it can foster big change. Yeah, so it's from big questions like power and politics to how do I operate a Kanban board, right?
Yes.
And in the end,
Yeah.
it's dependent on what is needed, and we only know what is needed if we take that first moment of our collaboration with organizations to understand that really well.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, what is the impact we should have in this context, right? It's not about doing; it's about the bigger impact.